This Friday will mark the 217th anniversary of the Battle of Trafalgar, perhaps the most consequential and certainly the most famous naval battle of the Age of Sail. On October 21st, 1805, 34 ships of the Royal Navy, manned by 20,000 sailors and Marines, faced off against a combined French and Spanish fleet. The ensuing battle, fought in the waters off the Strait of Gibraltar, gateway to the Mediterranean, was a crushing defeat for the forces of Napoleon and his allies. Although the Napoleonic Wars would rage on for an additional 10 years, British naval supremacy was assured and would not be meaningfully challenged again for more than a century. The victory came at a terrible price, however, as a shot from the mizzen top of Redoutable cut down Admiral Horatio Nelson, the greatest naval hero that Great Britain had ever produced. When these mixed tidings reached England's shores, the nation both mourned the loss of their favorite son and gloried in the triumph that he had brought them. Monuments and statues were raised, painters commemorated the battle in 1,000 canvases, and a multitude of broadsheets and posters were printed to spread the news of the victory to every corner of the British Isles. The majority of these poems and ballads, most of them written in the frenzied aftermath of the battle, were rabidly patriotic, with Nelson's name printed in all capital letters. But one poet, Ebenezer Elliott, took a decidedly more somber view of the whole affair. Raised by a radical Calvinist father whose fiery sermons earned him the moniker Devil Elliott, Ebenezer's poem mourns the deaths of the nearly 5,000 men who lost their lives in the battle, the overwhelming majority of them French and Spanish. Here is Eliot's characteristically religious take on Trafalgar, an early example of the anti-war ballad. Above the howl of ocean and frowning Trafalgar, from bursting cloud went forth the voice of elemental war. And louder than the tempest, from man the insect, came beneath the frown of Trafalgar his deadly voice of flame. But ere it rent the blackness, which God's stern brow cast wide, now victory or Westminster, said Nelson in his pride. My comrades, do your duty, or what will England say? They shall, cried accents from the deep, where dead men weltering lay. Red horror tore the tempest, down stooped both sea and sky, and like a flood on Collingwood the clouds rushed from on high. Life pledged for life, armed thousands joined in horrid strife. O life, thou art an awful thing, for what is God but life? Shouts, groans, and man's dread thunder made up one dismal cry. The affrighted storm asked what it meant, and death made no reply. But on the grave of thousands, a silent spirit trod. He clasped them in the embrace of death, and what is death but God? He cared not for their glory, he asked not of their cause, while right or wrong the weak and strong obeyed alike his laws. One tyrant lost his warships, worse tyrants summed their gains, and toil-worn nations sang and danced as maniacs dance, in chains. How like an empty bubble the turmoil passed away. Where are the weak, said sun and cloud, the mighty, where are they? And birds of light and calmness, where dolphins gamboled free, and heroes in their glory lay, flew over the smooth sea. And from his throne of silence, the God of peace looked down, though sternly on their bed of death, with pity in his frown. For Spaniard, Frank, and Briton, all peaceful in one grave, like babies in their nurse's arms, slept under the green wave. Image of God through horrors that make the angels weep, why seek the gift that comes unsought, his boon of dreadful sleep?